Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This video will be about British English words that I have picked up since living here in the UK. Most of these words I have learned from my husband. My husband is British, so he says things from time to time and I have to ask him, what do you mean? And so we do this little dance where I say, what do you mean? And then he's like, you don't know what this means? And I'm like, no. And then he's like, really? And I'm like, I don't know. Please just tell me what you mean. So just last week, he mentioned the word Naughties. So we were talking about an event that happened back in like 2002. And he was like, that happened back in the Naughties. And I was like, what? The Naughties? So basically the Naughties is the year 2000 from 2009, or the first decade of the 2000s. So I think that's convenient to call it the Naughties because it's kind of hard to kind of break down the years since we're in the year 2000. We can't say it's the 80s or the 90s. So I think calling it the Naughties, there's nothing, I think that's a good way to classify that first decade of the 2000s. The next one is chuffed. So I think this word actually has multiple meanings, but for the context that it was used in, I think it is more like being proud or delighted. Over the weekend, I had baked a pie for one of my friends and she tried it. Her and her grandkids tried it and I got good feedback on it. So my husband was like, you must be chuffed. So of course I had to ask him, what do you mean? So I was like, oh, I guess I was chuffed then, because I was very proud and delighted that she liked the pie. I've been baking a lot lately, and I've been having people try my pies. The pies that I bake aren't common here in the US. So anytime someone tells me that my pies are good and they like them, then I guess I'm chuffed. The next one is much of a muchness. Much of a muchness it means like the same thing, or there's not much of a difference. In the US, we would probably just say it's not, what I just said, much of the same. It's about the same. So for example, if I bought like some peanut butter from supermarket and there was different brands of peanut butter, I would just pick one over the other because there's not much difference in the taste of them. So it's like much of a muchness because there isn't much of a difference. I'm sure some peanut butter fans would be able to tell the difference between some peanut butters, but for some people, the peanut butter is the same, almost the same, no matter what brand. So getting a different brand isn't going to be much of a difference. So the fourth word is chinwag. So I was going to meet up with a friend, and my husband, he said something along the lines of, I bet you'll have a good chinwag. And basically chinwag means to chat or gossip. I would just say chat or gossip. There isn't another word really to describe chatting and gossiping in the US. So I guess it would be chinwag. So that's another word that I've picked up. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes here. And the last one is bits and bobs. So bits and bobs are like small objects, which could be really anything. So recently my husband, he bought this thing. I don't even know what it's called, but there's so many like little small parts that go along with it. So I think that could be described as being like bits and bobs. So I first heard this phrase last year. I was working for a large or popular fashion brand that's located here in the UK. And one of my co-workers, he said bits and bobs. And I had to ask him What did he mean by that? So now I know, and in the US we usually say like knickknacks and whatnot to describe like little small objects of something. So that is it for my video. And if you like the video, please subscribe and share it with your friends. See you next time. Bye.